Hi, welcome back to Crafting Some Ambience. It's lovely to see you here. I hope you're having a super week. I'm Kerry. I craft and make miniatures to cheer myself up on my home and hopefully give people I care about something nice in their lives as well. And on this rainy day, I'm going to make something that's going to put a little bit of sunshine into our lives. So, first of all, I saw an initial idea for an air dry clay lid. And that was from Tina Lemac. And that is spelled all in one word, TINALEMAC. And she's on YouTube and Instagram. Please give her a follow. Please support her channel. She did a pie lid on a jar with air dry clay and it looked exquisite. Seriously, you've got to look at hers. It's so detailed. It's magnificent. And as usual, I like to give credit and thanks for the initial idea, but I've got to make it my own so I'm not only slavishly copying and plagiarising their idea. So I'm going to make a jar for my lemon tea, and I'm going to make, hopefully, a lemon meringue pie top. And then to go beyond the pie top, I'm going to cover the sides of the jar, and on that I'm going to do lemons and teacups and, you know, teapots and beautiful things. And rather than sticking to a pre-planned design, I think I'd like to go with the flow, and that's not me at all. But one thing I have been doing in my YouTube videos is taking myself out of my comfort zone and trying. So I have kneaded my air dry clay, basic white air dry clay, nothing too extreme. So first we're going to roll the air dry clay until it's bigger than the jar lid. There's my little knife one. Might want to go near the side and whoosh, cut around it. make sure it's nice and rounded on the top. Also not massively too thick, or it's going to take weeks plural to dry, not days. And then I'm going to use a ruler for once in my life and use it to cut out a strip of clay. I didn't realise actually that this ruler prints flowers upon the clay, so I'm going to be careful not to get that. And then we are going to use these strips to cover the sides of the jar but not over the bottom. The other thing you need to consider with your jar lid is what you're going to put in the jar. And you're going to go, Kerry, shush. Now, obviously, if it's something that's non-edible and non-perishable, you're not bothered. If it's anything with vinegar or acid or anything like that, you'll need a jar with a vinegar-proof lid. Now, mine's only going to be lemon tea granules, so I doubt that's going to be an issue. But with lemons being acidic, just in case, I've got an old pickled onion jar, because then hopefully if something is acidic, I'm covered with the vinegar proof lid, because obviously pickled onions sit in vinegar, and if it doesn't matter, then I won't notice either way. And I can live in blissful ignorance. So we're nearly there with the sides of our lid. Again, we don't want to make it too thick, so we are going to cut it off where it meets. Just make it as neat as possible, and then I'm just going to say jar lid goes on, jar lid goes off. Fab. So now we're going to make pie. I want to make a lemon meringue pie. I don't want to make the top too high. Yeah, that's quite high. That's it. That's more like it. And again, we're just manipulating it so it just, with your fingers, so that it just joins onto the jar. That's it. Just to make the height fairly even. Obviously it's going to look like a jar that I've made. So, you know, you don't have to be extremely precious about it. And like you would with pastry when you're making a pie, just patch the side up if it needs it. Now I'm just gonna Oh yeah, that ball tool is a bit nicer for just making a suggestion of a little crimped edge. All the way around. And then, so that I don't go through the clay, I'm just gonna slightly, just with that crimping, just make suggestions on the pastry, like it's come out of like a fluted tin. Because I nearly said the pastry then. The clay is purposefully not too thick. So if you go through too far, you're going to go through your pastry. So what we'll do to really make a difference with that is we'll use paint to really make that definition along those lines. We'll use different shades to create an illusion of depth. Now we need our pie filling. This is a little thicker, but it's pie filling. You can't massively have a pie without the filling, so it will take a bit longer to dry. This is obviously going to be a much longer project, but just going to squidge it around so it looks homogeneous but suitably lumpy. And then lemon meringue obviously has the lemon meringue top. So I'm going to make some small little meringue topping, and we're going to score where we want it to go. A little bit of water, same on the base, and bump. And this way the meringue will limit in the amount of areas with the biggest depth to dry. We're adding a bit of interest. And a little bit of fun, and they just look like little, like you've just piped little, do they call them meringue kisses, do they? I don't know. I think I've heard that before. But yeah, those little piped meringues. That looks terrible. Because I've got jars from IKEA for my coffee, my tea, my loose leaf tea, my cafetiere coffee, my bedtime tea, but not my lemon tea. And then I saw Tina's video. Please do go watch it. It's like a Christmas pilot she's done, but the way she's done the pastry lattice and the garnish on it as well, and the paint work she's done and stuff, it's gorgeous. Honestly, hers absolutely will put mine to shame. But I'm also going to do the sides of the jar. I'm also doing lemon. I'm not doing the pastry lattice and things, just out of respect, so that I don't, you know, I get an idea, I credit the idea, but I take it in a slightly different direction so that it gives something else. Here we go. I do love lemon though. I love anything clean and citrusy and fresh like that. I might make a lump of cream in the middle, because yeah. And to differentiate the two, I'll obviously have very similar colours for the cream and the meringue, but I'll do the meringue like it's been blow touched as well. We shall try that, and we shall see. Is anybody watching the pottery throwdown? I love the pottery throwdown. We actually saw Keith give a talk at the Southport Flower Show. He's fab. So that is the lid. It's heavier now, so that's another thing you have to bear in mind, the weight. But it goes back on. Comes back off. And now the jar itself. So need our clay a little bit more, because if we get the clay work done, then we can get it to dry, and then the next update will be painting it. So we want to roll and roll and roll and roll and roll, because we want, again, we want the base layer to not be too thick. So if we go base to shoulder, yeah, we need more clay. I'm also just working on a little bit of greaseproof paper as well. Just because sometimes the clay can be quite wet and quite wet, quite sticky. And the beauty of the greaseproof paper is it literally gets you fabulous. So we want straight edge. We can always trim it when it's on the jar, but if we at least start with a straight edge, then things are working with us. So let's swirl and adjust. Teasing it round. Let's see, how far are we? Trim that off. Make our seam look smooth. And then we're just going to run, we're going to decide where the bottom's going to be and trim it. And just run my finger around the glass and give that a nice secured bottom edge. It also self-corrects any dimples that are wanting to form and gives it a nice firm seal. Now here, let's make a little hole so that I can see how much is left, even if I'm not opening the jar. And again, we'll just soften those edges in. I have gone fairly rectangular, but you can always change that shape if you want a different window. Right. I think the shoulder of the jar before it goes into the neck of the jar is a good cut-off point. Picked up some little bits that I didn't move because I'm silly. Yeah, just scoot the bits you think you've dealt with out the way. Ah, Kelly. Cut. All the way around. Until you've got a scarf shape that's come off. And again, we're just pinching the edge in, smoothing it. It's all in one fell swoop really, it just makes it look like a much nicer job and a much more even edge in terms of the height, because that will drive me bananas if that isn't. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. It's all looking fairly smooth and usable. So we want some nice shapes. So jar can go over here. Let's roll this. I keep nearly saying pastry because there's a pie over there. Okay. Roll out your clay. Do not mistake it for pastry. Do not eat your clay. Again, nice and thin, so that by the time the thickness of this adds to the thickness of this, then we're not having to dry it for the rest of our lives. So I think I'd like a couple of lemons and their leaves. So I'm just going to hand, it's almost like drawing and then I think just crisp those edges up a little bit. And with this one I'm going to use it kind of as a stylus to kind of make that spotty dotty lemon effect. Some of them have gone a bit large, but I'm not cross about it. I'm alright. And then we're going to score the back. And then we shall put this on this side. And we shall score the pot where we want it to go. Some water. And this just means that it sticks. The clay takes to each other. I think we'll do a leaf coming out. No, do I want one leaf or two? Just one. And then we shall add the veins in the leaf. Score the back. Score the pot. Water. And have a leaf. What I might do on the other side is a lemon that's been cut open. So we can see segments. Get our lemon skin again. Just make that little suggestion of the texture of each segment. Score the back. Score the pot. Water. Stick on. Smooth those little lines that have gone past where I wanted it to. Just flatten that a little bit. Just a few little edges that were just sitting a little proud. We want them to have contact with the clay as it dries. Now I think we're going to have a cup. I'm going to draw it first on a saucer. Because then there's a guide for how I want it to look with the painting, but I've not cut those lines. Now I'm just going to smooth the edges of my saucer and my handle because they're a bit, that handle needs a little bit out, and the hole in the middle. able to give me a nice clear handle hole. Let's go the back. Let's go pot. Water time. Press it on. Smooth any lines that have, score lines that have gone beyond where you want them. Just going to do a little suggestive liquid and maybe a little wisp of steam, just with the stylus, so you can only just see it, but you can paint over it. I think a teapot might be quite nice. Let's have a go with a teapot. I'm removing the hole in the handle this time while it's on the sheet of clay, because I think that will be easier. I'm just going to give some definition in parts with the stylus, and then let's carefully ease it out. Score. This is really therapeutic. I have not thought of anything other than what I'm doing for the duration of this craft, and that is rare for me. Score the pot. Tell you what though, I could really go a cup of lemon tea. You know what I'm doing as soon as I get this completed and washed my hands. A little bit of steam again from the teapot, because you know you've got to. And then I think there's maybe room for one thing as we go around. Just kneading the clay again, just to keep it elastic. So, have lemons, we have a teacup, we have a teapot. Maybe a teaspoon. I think this is actually quite a good spoon shape, so I might actually cheat a little bit. and make it a little smaller, but along that shape. I'm just going to push that in. Just do it again, so it's a little bit deeper, because then that can be the, yeah. Maybe the floral pattern. Oh, that didn't do it. Let's see. There's a little bit of it. I mean, it's nothing like my favourite spoon. And yes, I do have favourite spoons. Doesn't everyone? I mean, it's a ginormous spoon compared to the teapot and the cup, but I think we all know that none of those items were ever going to be to scale. They were decorative only. And I think it goes quite nicely like across in that space, so there's not tons there, but there's enough. And I think I'll do just like a little line around where it touches the bottom ridge of the jar, and at the top not for any practical purpose, just because, you know, a little bit of colour around them might look nice. A little frame around there. Let's see if I can do some letters. Come on. See if I can get them looking nice. Might have letters of what it is. I think this end might have. No, that end's become horrendous. I think you have to go larger for the M to be able to get your knife to cut the letter. I mean, I could just press with my stylus with the letters, but I just didn't know whether I could get them 3D, just out of interest, because I have mad ideas and I clearly quite like torturing myself. It's a little large. We'll just take some off the bottom so that it looks a bit more together. The yellow should go nice. The end's a bit like the M, it needs a bit more TLC. It's coming. Let's see. Let's just move that out in the middle. It's gone from rainy to absolutely cats and dogs outside. It is definitely a day to stay in and do a little bit of clay. Yeah, I think it's weather for ducks today, or my pet fish. We have fish. We had gerbils years ago as well, when my daughter was little. They were fun. They were cheeky gerbils. We did have a crab once in the fish tank, but it kept getting out. It was like Houdini. Right. Let's see. Let's do some scoring. And some water. Let's see what happens with these and if we like them. Need a little more scoring and water. Didn't do quite enough room. I also thought, you see, it should be fairly easy to paint the letters on, but if I'd made dints in them, I just wondered if I'd end up constantly kind of going into areas that I don't want to and things. Just going to use this tool in the middle of the O just to smooth out any scoring lines that we now don't need. I think that tool will be better there. And that, with them being 3D, I thought I could even paint it mostly one colour and then maybe do like a shadow with a darker shade and things, and a lighter, you know, and give it a little bit more je ne sais quoi. We shall see anyway, we shall see. It might have been a terrible idea. And here is the word tea. So we have lemon and here is tea. That A has gone a bit doolally. Come on. Again, just blending out what we don't need. Build that A up a little bit because it got a little witty bit squished. Hey, I like that. Oh, and then the lid still goes on. I'm really pleased with that. So now we've got to let it dry. And then we can paint it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Bye bye. Hi, welcome back. The air dry clay is fully dried. There were a few cracks, so I had a look, and anything that was just quite a hairline I kind of left. But anything where I could see glass, I just used another piece of air dry clay and just smoothed it in. So this has been quite a few days. I apologise if you hear wind or rain, because we're in the middle of a storm here where I am in the UK. So good luck. I hope everyone's staying safe and warm and dry, and we're going to get painted. I will time lapse on this, I think, so that it's not about 20 years long. But I'm using acrylic paint. I'm going to vary shades and colours. It may end up in more than one coat, we shall see. And then after that I will varnish it. Now, the air dry clay itself and the paints and the varnish will not be food safe. So if you do put food in, like I intend to put lemon tea in, inside where it's just glass, not on the clay, for safety. Now, for washing, obviously it won't be okay for a dishwasher. I'm not sure once varnished how air dry clay takes to washing, so it might be that it's more of a decorative item than a food item, but we shall see. Okie dokie, we shall get time lapse. and enjoy crafting.